you ever had the feeling, deep in the pit of your stomach, that something is horribly wrong, yet you cannot put your finger on exactly what it is? Should we pay any heed to these errant impulses in our modern world of motorcars and luxury liners? Why cling to a candle if you can have electric light? I was newly wed to a gentleman of means, my ticket out of these rotten boroughs into an infant society where I could establish myself without fear of being judged by my past. And yet something tugged at me as we drove towards Southampton. A deep-seated urge to seek shelter, to be happy with my meager lot in life, rather than to forge ahead haplessly into the unknown. I banished these thoughts from my mind as best I could, willing myself to focus on the cradle of New York City, which awaited mine and Robert's arrival some 5,000 kilometers away. The sizable gulf would be traversed in nearly as much comfort as was available back at Ashley Manor. I was one of the lucky few afforded the opportunity to travel on the RMS Titanic. I was curiously uncertain about many things, but I knew without a doubt this would be a journey I wouldn't soon forget.
Good morning, sir and madam. Welcome aboard the pride of the White Star Line RMS Titanic. May I have your boarding passes, please?
Of course. Here you are.
Ah, Mr. Ashley, an honor, sir. And madam?
Robert, don't you have my boarding pass?
No, I gave it to Montague. He was to give it to you.
But he didn't. At least, not that I remember.
Mr. Ashley, madam, perhaps you could step aside until you find madam's pass.
Can't you just let us on? My man may have boarded already.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm under strict orders.
Don't make a fuss, Robert. I'll find the pass. I'm sure I simply mislaid it.
That's my sweet cake. I'll wait here. Have you found your pass yet, my dear? I need to get settled and have a bath.
Madam, I assure you, my intent was not to harm the boy.
Well, you weren't being friendly.
I do believe he picked my pocket.
I did no such thing.
I assure you, madam, he did. Mrs. Ashley?
Montague, do you have my boarding pass?
Margie?
Mother? What on earth are you doing here?
I came here looking for you, Margie, to beg you not to go to America.
Mother, we've discussed all this. I have a new life now, a husband.
Oh, yes. You mean the husband what made you renounce your own blood? How could I forget?
I thought I made myself clear to you last month. How can you show up here and embarrass me like this?
Embarrass you? I'm trying to save you. Please don't get on this blasted ship. I've a terrible feeling.
will be back for a few weeks this winter. If you insist, we can discuss this further then. Right now, I have to find my boarding pass.
Fine. Ignore your own mother.
If I may, madam, I have both of our boarding passes right here. Just a moment. They're gone. It was that boy. That boy stole them.
Where did he go?
Off towards baggage. I'm sorry, madam. Please don't tell Mr. Ashley.
Don't worry about it, Montague. I'll take care of it. The rope appears strong and thick. Little boy, did you steal some papers from that man over there?
What? I never did nothing.
What's your name?
George.
George. That's a pleasant name. I don't want to hurt you, Georgie, I promise. Why don't you just give me the papers back and we'll leave it at that?
Get stuffed, lady.
Wait! Come back! Fiddlesticks! The crankcase looks like it's missing a piece. I believe that crate is full of cigarettes bound for the New World. It looks tightly sealed. I believe that... George, get out of that car this instant!
No, you can't make me.
I only want to speak to you properly. What if I gave you a present? Would you like that?
Got any cigarette cartons?
No, and even if I did, I wouldn't give them to a little boy. I'm convinced they're not good for you.
What I want cigarettes for? I want the little cards what come in the packages. I've got almost 50 already. I'm going for a full set.
Oh, well, I suppose I could look around for something like that. I believe that crate... The rope appeared. That worked like a charm. I'll just grab the cards out of the cartons before anyone notices the mess. Ten should do the trick. George can't possibly have all of these.
You promised me a cigarette card.
Here you are, George.
Oh, brilliant. I ain't got none of these yet.
Now can you return what you stole, please?
But I already told you. I ain't steal nothing. Oh, look, dropped his papers. I was going to pick 'em up for him, and he rapped me on me head. I didn't even ask for it nor nothing.
Okay, well, even if the old bloke dropped the papers, you did still take them, didn't you, George?
What I want with a bunch of lousy papers? The other ones what took 'em.
The other one?
The other one there, the lady. I saw her pick up the papers while the old bloke was busy beating on me. He'll be sorry.
I think I can have a guess who the Ophir one is.
Oh no, the ship's about to leave. I gotta go find my brother. Bye, lady.
Give me back my boarding pass, Mother.
Why, I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I know you took it. Give it back and go home.
What? Oh. Oh, well, I did find a boarding pass, come to think of it. Is it yours? Oh, dearie, I'm so very sorry. There you go.
I can't believe you, Mother. Give Montague back his as well.
Well, I only found one. If, as you say, there was a second pass, it must have blown away.
You had better be telling me the truth, Mother.
Oh dear, oh dear. I'd best pop off to the ticket office and purchase another pass. The ship's about to leave port.
Such a proper gentleman, when he's not boxing children's ears, that is. Well, I'll be going myself. Must take my medication. So long, Margie. Farewell. Have a good trip. I'll see you come winter.
Winter, yes.
Ah, thank you, madam. All appears to be in order, and good thing, too. It would have been a shame to miss out on such an historic voyage.
Indeed.
Stateroom 4B is just down the starboard hull from the entrance. Stateroom 12B is down the port hall.
Pardon me? Is that correct, Robert? We have separate cabins?
Well, yes, my dear. I thought it would be more comfortable for you.
Of course.
I must admit, this exceeds even my expectations.
It's a bit all right, all right.
Margaret, although I adore your colorful phrases, others might not be so understanding. Try and restrain yourself in mixed company.
Of course, Robert.
I fancy a bit of lunch. Care to dine at the Café Parisien?
I'm not hungry at the moment. I'd just like to spend some time settling in if it's all the same to you.
Not a problem. You know where I'll be if you need me.
Seems the little fellow just doesn't want to let go of that perch.
Ma'am, I've just finished up here.
That's fine, Montague. By the way, about my mother.
A most intriguing woman, ma'am. She had a good many things to say about her only daughter.
Bear in mind, Montague, that it isn't your place to remember them.
Of course not, ma'am. I am a valet. I've not personally had the good fortune to marry above my station, if you will excuse me.
My fingers are not quite slender enough to grab hold of the notch. There's nothing embarrassing about that. My fingers are not... Ah, yes. I'd forgotten about this false bottom. I can't for the life of me remember what I stored there. Ah, scissors. Yes, well, I suppose I had some good reason to hide them at the time.
Ah, we've arrived. I ordered without you. I didn't think you were coming.
Why does that not surprise me?
Someone's in a foul mood.
I know, I apologize. Tuck in without me.
Perhaps you just need to get your sea legs. Might take a while. But do try and act yourself by this evening. We'll be dining with the captain.
Of course. Robert, why did we need to travel in separate cabins? We are married, after all.
Margaret, dear, you know I care for you, but travel by ship is cramped enough. I need my own space, as you need yours. And as we've only been married a few weeks, it might seem a little rushed.
We're traveling to the new world, Robert. You'd best stop putting your old world way of thinking behind you. I'm in no mood for a proper lunch with Robert, but a boiled egg might hit the spot. Too bad reaching into that water would scald my entire arm. The eggs are close enough, but they're still far too hot for me to handle without some sort of implement. That isn't... No. No. I can't... No. What have we here? A secret passage? I'm an inquisitive kind of girl. Let's see where this leads.
No, 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 this won't do at all. You're not meant to be here.
What? Where exactly is here?
Greater minds than ours spent their entire lives asking that question, succeeding only in mucking things up further. What's your name, young lady?
I'm Margaret Ashley, and what I meant was, what is this room? Why is it here? And who are you?
I'm Dean Tavaloris, and you've entered my private sanctum, one that I designed into the plans from this ship's very inception.
You designed this ship?
Well, not exactly. I was employed as an assistant shipwright. I was placed in charge of all the less glamorous aspects of shipbuilding, plumbing, cargo holds, engines, that kind of thing.
Ah, so you slipped in a little private stateroom for yourself, and now you're a stowaway on your own ship. Is that it?
Clearly you do not grasp the importance of Titanic. All great men shall at some point call her home. Businessmen, world leaders, heroes, artists. Decisions made aboard this ship will determine the course of the world as we know it. What I have built here is a network of halls between halls, that I may bear witness to history in the making. I silvered mirrors on several decks so that I can see out, but nobody can see in.
So, you're a bloody loony.
No, absolutely not. Forgive me, madam, but I find that point of view rather naive.
To each his own, I suppose. I'll be leaving now.
Promise to keep my secret.
I don't want any trouble, Mr. Tavaloris. What you do is your own affair. I just need to get back. I'm having dinner with the captain this evening.
Most certainly. Oh, but you cannot leave the way you came in, I'm afraid. One-way door.
I should have guessed as much. So how do I get out of here?
Down the second hallway, there's another mirrored door which opens into the first-class parlor. Just try not to be seen leaving, or we'll both end up in the stockade.
Right. I think I see some matches under there. If I'm going to be walking around in these tunnels, I'll need a lot of them. That should do it. If I end up needing more than this, that will mean I've really lost my way. That opened the valve. That must be the door Mr. Tavaloris was talking about. There are some people standing on the other side, so I can't use it. I could probably make out what they're saying to each other if I tried. Maybe if I put my ear against the mirror.
But of course, it never came to pass because What was that? Did you see that?
See what?
I swear I saw some motion behind that mirror.
I think you need to stop staring at yourself quite so much, my dear man.
That man could see me when I got close to the mirror. I'd best not try that again. That opened the valve. That opened the valve. I closed the vent. I've nothing left to accomplish here. There's nothing left to do here. I closed the vent. I've routed the steam into the next room. The steam fogged up the mirror. Maybe now I can get close enough to listen to their conversation without being spotted.
It's a priceless mummy of the pharaoh Menkaure. That's why it's secured with a combination lock. I used my birth date as the combination. The month, the day, and finally the year.
That's probably not a smart thing to tell me. I'm psychic, you know. I could easily guess your birthday.
I don't see how that matters. If you're truly psychic, you'd know the combination regardless of whether it was my birthday.
March 21st.
Not even close.
Right. But the month's got an A in it. Or an E.
Actually, no. Forgive me for saying so, but you're not very good at what you do. I will tell you that if you take the number of letters in the month times itself, you'll get the day.
Tut tut. Say no more. I have it sussed. So, what year were you born?
That's an impertinent question to ask a lady. Nevertheless, my lack of confidence in your ability is such that I would gladly part with that information. I was born in 1867.
I closed the vent. I've routed the steam into the next room. Now that I have a little more information, let's see if I can decipher the combination to this lock. A sarcophagus. It looks thousands of years old. I think I'll hang on to the shroud that was covering it. That set off an alarm. I'd best make myself scarce.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Oh, not at all.
It's just that the heat sensor in hold number 4 went off, and the captain thought you should be alerted.
Hold number 4. Men-Cal Ray is in hold number 4.
Ha! It is as I predicted.
Pardon me?
I've got to be sure it's okay. Excuse me, both of you.
My. She left in a hurry.
Yes, sir, she did. Well, I'd best be getting back to my duties.
And I shall retire to my room. All this crying has me knackered.
At last. I'd better sneak out while I can.
Ah, Mrs. Ashley, I've found you. I witnessed an event below deck a short time ago which I thought would be of interest to you.
Pray tell.
Well, I was endeavouring to check in some of Mr. Ashley's valuables with the ship's purser when I chanced to see a middle-aged woman arguing with a steward. She was demanding to be allowed up to the first-class cabins, and the steward in question wasn't having any of it. He said he didn't know how she managed to come across a first-class boarding pass, but he was going to get to the bottom of it. And until such time, she was relegated to steerage.
That's very interesting, Montague, but I have more important things on my mind right now.
I understand, madam. I simply thought it would be keen to know the lady in question was not a stranger to me.
Please don't tell me it was my mother.
I'm afraid it was.
The schemer. She had your boarding pass after all.
That as may be, madam. But surely her intentions were simply to keep watch over her only daughter.
Montague, I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't know her as well as I do. In any case, I need to find her and have a word. You said the steward escorted her back to steerage.
Yes. However, I'd imagine they would be no more inclined to let a young, upper-class woman down into steerage than they would allow your mother up here.
Then I'll simply have to find a way to sneak down.
Might I make a suggestion, madam?
By all means.
Just as your mother's disheveled appearance was enough to prevent her gaining access to first class in spite of her boarding pass, so would your appearance prevent you from gaining access to steerage. If you are insistent upon this course, which I must strongly advise you against, perhaps your passage would be facilitated by, at this one moment at least, being a little bit more like your mother.
Are you sure you don't mean more like myself?
I think you'll find either option will suffice. You may not have been born into high society, but to the casual observer, You avail yourself quite well. You must let your guard down and embrace your past, my dear girl.
Thanks, I think.
Not at all, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, hello there.
Forgive me for being impertinent, but are you feeling all right? You seem a bit flustered.
I'm sorry. No need to burden you with my problems. I'm just a bit on edge. I'm the ship's curator, you see. Odette Duchamp.
It's lovely to meet you, Odette. I'm Margaret Ashley.
I know your name, Mrs. Ashley.
I don't recognize that game you're playing. Might I ask what it's called?
I haven't the slightest idea. That fool psychic Yannick said that if I wished to get a proper reading from him, I had to first separate his spirit deck into 2 separate chakric spheres. Spirit deck, indeed.
Did he tell you how?
Oh no, that would be too easy. He gave me this temporal oracle, which I might add looks exactly like a poorly made pocket watch, and said the hands would guide me. The fool.
If you find him so disagreeable, why do you care if he gives you a reading or not?
Oh, my dear, he's unimportant in the grand scheme, simply a blithering conduit for far greater power. But his pronouncements are bond. I wouldn't much like to share dinner with the man, but his words are invaluable.
If you say so.
Would you care to give it a try? I can't make head nor tails of it.
Yes, all right.
Let me take a quick look. You did it! Thank you so much. It seems so elementary in hindsight. I'd better go find Yannick, which won't be difficult. He calls himself a medium, but I'd say he's more of a large.
Anytime, Odette. Good luck. Odette left a tea cake behind. I'm sure she won't mind if I put it to good use. George, what are you doing up here?
I didn't do nothing, and you can't prove that I did.
I didn't say you did anything, George, but you aren't allowed up here. You should go back below deck before a steward sees you.
Oh, no! Someone took me favorite book. Went right off with it. I ain't going nowhere till I get it back.
This is ridiculous. What was the book called?
It's one of the Charlie series, isn't it?
I don't know what that means.
You don't know Charlie? He's got some great ones. Charlie goes fishing, Charlie goes to the park.
Yes, I think I see what you're getting at. Let me see if I can find you a Charlie book.
I'll keep looking here till you find it. You find me book yet? I'll keep looking here till you find it.
Is this the book, George?
Oi, that's it! I knew they had it!
Well, that's a happy ending then. So are you going to clean up this mess before you run off to read? Marvelous. Gets what he wants and off he goes. Guess I'll have to clean up. There, snug as a bug. Oops, a library card fell from one of the books. I'll hang on to it for the moment. I've nothing to collect it.
Where to, ma'am?
F deck, please.
Pardon me?
F deck.
I'm sorry, ma'am. F deck is for third-class passengers only.
Young man, I don't have time to argue. I need to get to F deck, and either you are going to take me or I'll lower a rope over the side of this bleeding ship and climb down myself.
Begging your pardon, ma'am, but F deck is not the sort of place you want to be mucking about in. If your husband were to find out I allowed you passage unescorted, it'd mean my job.
This should help me learn which buttons get pressed.
Good evening again.
F deck, please.
Begging your pardon, but I can't take a high-class lady such as yourself into steerage. It would mean my job.
Mrs. Ashley, I trust your day is going well.
As well as can be expected, thank you.
Mrs. Ashley,
As well as can be expected, thank you. Could you bring me my coat, please?
Of course, Mrs. Ashley. Wait here. I won't be a moment. Mrs. Ashley, begging your pardon, I can't seem to find your coat.
Oh, not a problem. Montague must have collected it already. Thank you for looking.
My pleasure.
This button hasn't been pressed, so it must not be part of the... This button hasn't... That did it! Let's see what required such impenetrable protection. Now, let's see what looks good. Or more accurately, bad on me. My sense of style is second to none.
Where to, ma'am?
F deck, please.
Ma'am, I applaud your perseverance. And that outfit is, indeed, more fitting for a seamstress than a duchess. But it is still a bit unmarred.
Oh? And what, pray tell, would you suggest?
I wouldn't be so bold as to suggest how ma'am should treat her clothes, if those are in fact ma'am's clothes. But I cannot in good conscience take you to steerage unless... how to put this delicately? Tatty them up a bit?
You're impossible.
No, only highly improbable.
coat's in place. Now I just need to place the bait. Wow. They must have thought it was a dead animal, which is just about what it looks like now.
Where to, ma'am?
F-deck, please.
Of course. I hope you don't mind me saying, ma'am, but that coat doesn't really suit you. Looks like a buzzard mistook it for carrion.
And you. Hello again, George. Say, do you remember the lady back at the dock who took the boarding passes?
You mean while that other one was banging on me head?
Yes. You wouldn't happen to have seen her on board, would you?
Yeah, but wish I hadn't. She keeps telling me what to do. She ain't me mum. You ain't me mum neither. Why you wanna know?
She's the lady who got you knocked on the head. Isn't that enough? She needs to be taught a lesson.
I dunna believe ya. What's in it for me?
Well, what could I possibly do for you, George?
I lost me game. Dropped it somewheres around here. If you can find it, I'll help ya.
Your game? What does it look like? What type of game?
You hold it in your hand and try to get these little balls to go into the little holes. It ain't no bigger than a cigarette carton.
Okay, I suppose I can do that for you, George.
Thanking you.
Titanic is big, but surely not big enough for a golf course. Perhaps it is used merely to hit practice balls into the sea. I've spread the wrapper over the writing surface. There's something floating in the water. I can't tell exactly what it is, but it looks about the right size to be George's ball game. I managed to hook a piece of coal with the head of the club. It's rather powdery. It's getting dust all over my hands. I'd guess that's somebody's locker combination. Bingo! That was much easier than guessing at every possible combination. Of all the games available here, I think fishing is most my speed. Hopefully no one will miss a single rod. I had a feeling I'd be good at this.
Me game?
Yes, Georgie, I believe this is your precious game.
Hooray! Gimme! Hey, wait! You broke it!
I did no such thing.
Ye did! I had it all solved and everything, and ye went and broke it!
Georgie, I assure you it was that way when I found it.
Well, deal's off. And quit calling me Georgie. That's a baby name.
Then quit acting like a baby.
No. Fix it or no deal.
All right. Let me take a look. Okay, it's solved.
Gimme.
Not so fast. Tell me where my mother is first. Fool me once.
I'll do you one better. I'll bring her to ye.
Margaret?
Mother?
Please don't be upset with me.
I'm not upset at you, Mother. I'm actually glad you're here.
Oh, my little girl. I knew you'd see the error of your ways.
Now wait just a minute, I didn't say anything about that. What you did was wrong, and meddling in my life is wrong. But I'm still happy to see you.
Blimey, adults are boring. Can I have me game back now?
Oh, sorry, George. Here you are.
Anyway, Margie, I don't want to fight. I've just had this bad feeling about you, about your marriage, about this trip. God help me, I cannot do otherwise.
That as it may be, Mother, but I am my own woman. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to attend dinner with the captain. We can talk about this more in the morning.
All right. I love you, Margie.
I love you too, Mother. Good night. Robert, this dining room is spectacular. Is the captain running late? Where should I sit? Oh, you'll never believe who I ran into below deck.
Margaret, darling,
Are you all right? You don't look well.
is it obvious? I'm afraid I have a rather nasty bout of seasickness.
Well, that's no great shakes. Come with me to the ship's hospital.
No, I can't. I'll be fine, really.
But they have medication for this. A single small pill and you'll be fine.
Margaret, I simply cannot be struck down by something as common as motion sickness. It would appear weak.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
You're entitled to your opinion. I do not share your view.
Fine. I'll get the medicine for you.
You're a dear, Margaret. Please hurry. I can't have the captain seeing me like this.
You're a natural, Mrs. Duchamp. Oh, hello. I recognize you from the elevator. My name is Vincent Rossetti.
Yes. Off duty, are you?
Right. Thought I'd take a few moments to instruct the beautiful Mrs. Duchamp on the fine.
I see.
Would you care to give it a try?
I might just do that. Thank you, Odette.
Hello, my dear. May I help you?
Oh, yes, Doctor. I'm not feeling well at all. I think I have a touch of seasickness. Do you have anything for me?
We do have a new pill that combats the more unpleasant effects. However, my prescription for you is a healthy amount of sea air. Why not take a stroll on the deck? You don't look so bad off.
Can't I just have the pills?
To be honest with you, ma'am, they are reported to have rather addictive properties. I'm not inclined to give them out in any but the worst cases. Really, your color is fine. You seem quite sea-adjusted to me.
The truth is, they're for my husband. He really is in bad shape.
Well then, let me come see him. We'll fix him right up.
No, he wouldn't like that at all.
You could bring him here.
No, that wouldn't do either. You see, he's a trifle ashamed of his malady.
I'm sorry. I cannot dispense this particular medication without direct cause. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have much to do.
It looks like somebody snuck a dessert off the cart. It's completely full except for one small space. I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish, but there you are. All that's left of my glass of water is a frozen disk of ice. I suppose as the water expanded, it shattered the glass. Fascinating how powerful something as simple as ice can be.
You want to aim for the front of the triangle for the highest score. Just give the puck a good shove.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent shot. I can see you need no instruction from me.
Quite right.
You want to aim for the front of the... Say, what kind of puck is that?
One of my own. Don't you know, Mr. Rossetti, a lady should never be caught without her own shuffleboard puck. Oops, it got away from me.
Ah! Ah!
That sounded like someone fell down. I'd better go check it out. Are you all right?
Oh, it's my ankle. I can't walk on it. It hurts so much. Ah!
You just wait right there. I'll fetch the doctor. Doctor!
Ma'am, as I've said, I'm quite busy here.
But there's been an injury. One of the officers slipped and fell on D deck. He's in quite a bit of pain.
Oh, let me gather my things.
Hurry, Doctor!
D deck, you say?
Yes, just outside the main hallway.
I'm off. Don't touch anything while I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. No, that isn't right. That made the space between the base and the door slightly wider. The space is now wide enough for me to fit. Let me see if I can hook the latch. Aha! That worked like a charm. Motion sickness pills. Take 2 if suffering from nausea and headaches. That should do it.
Please, Margaret. Speaking makes me feel I might lose my lunch. You must hurry.
Here you are, Robert. Take 2 immediately.
Thank heavens. I feel better already.
I'm not too late, am I? I don't see the captain.
No, you are just in time. Please, do sit.
Oh, such a lovely evening. I do believe the sea air has all but cured my asthma.
I've heard it has miraculous properties.
I am here. All may now relax. I see the captain has not yet arrived, but I predict he will do so forthwith.
Nothing like going out on a limb, am I right? What sort of odds you giving the sun rising tomorrow?
Ah, the captain.
Greetings, all. I'm so happy you were able to join me for dinner.
The pleasure is all ours, Captain.
Let us toast to this magnificent ship, our able captain, and to a speedy and uneventful voyage.
Hear, hear.
That feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, it's there for a reason. For all our attempts to categorize things we do not understand, to more easily deal with the fear they might otherwise cause, all we have truly learned is that we do not know well enough to judge.
Iceberg! Right ahead!
After all, icebergs are themselves nothing more than water. There's certainly nothing ostensibly threatening about them. But in the end, it is the unknown which threatens us most. What on earth was that? It sounded absolutely horrible. I must speak with Robert. I'll never get to sleep wondering what that noise was. The crank handle came loose. Oh well, this compartment could do with the fresh air. If Robert's asleep, it will be difficult to wake him from out here. Why did he insist on separate cabins? Robert, are you in there? Why aren't you answering? I'm sorry to disturb you, Montague.
Not at all, Mrs. Ashley. I was not yet asleep when I heard a rather disturbing noise coming from just outside. I'm afraid it spooked Bexley. He's entrenched beneath the bed and will not come out.
Perhaps he could be lured out.
He does have a penchant for herring. But to be frank with you, it would bother me none too much if he stayed put for the rest of the journey.
Montague, do you have any idea where Mr. Ashley is? I've knocked on his stateroom door, but there's no answer.
Yes, Mr. Ashley was, well, rather soused, I'm afraid. He might have slept through the noise, or perhaps he simply didn't think it was worth rousing himself for.
And you? Did you think it was worth rousing yourself for?
I did indeed. Since I'm awake, I'm heading to the lounge. Might I bring Ma'am something back?
No, thank you, Montague. If you happen across Robert, would you kindly tell him I'm quite anxious to speak with him?
Of course. Although I wouldn't hold out much hope, Mrs. Ashley. I'm certain he is still in his bed. Perhaps you would best occupy your time conspiring to get his attention.
Short of sounding the ship's alarm, I'm not sure what I can do. But I will try, thank you, Montague.
Good luck, Ma'am.
It's a perfect fit. I can just see into Robert's room if I lean out the window. I know what you're thinking. A leap is out of the question. Oh, the smell! Let's see if I can find something here Bexley might find appetizing. These bells look as if they belong to a collar of some sort. Come here, Bexley. He never did like me much. Come here, Bexley. He never did like me much. Look, Bexley, it's your favorite. Sardines. That's a good girl. A good boy. I meant good boy. I'm not sure if just Bexley alone will be enough to wake Robert. Perhaps I can make him a little noisier. Heave-ho! Let the havoc commence!
What the... Who let that blasted cat in here?
Aha! The master has awoken. Robert, are you awake?
Ugh, blasted cat. How on earth did he sneak into my cabin?
Oh, he's a crafty one, no mistake. Did you hear that horrible noise a little while ago?
Yes, it was awful. I almost threw him off the balcony. He has bells on his neck. What sort of fresh horror is that?
No, I meant before that. You didn't hear a scraping noise? It sounded like nothing I've ever heard.
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about, Margaret. Can't we discuss this in the morning? I have a pounder.
I would think you'd be worried about anything that might endanger your new wife.
Margaret, you can trust that anything worth worrying about will be given due consideration. Kindly respect my judgment on the matter, would you? Now off with you. We'll talk in the morning.
Odd. That didn't reassure me at all. I think I'll go have a word with the captain. Perhaps he can set my mind at ease. Sorry, Bex. It's back to Monty's room for you. Captain, May I disturb you for a moment?
Oh, Mrs. Ashley, we're a bit busy here.
Well, then let me get right to the point. Have we had a collision?
Mrs. Ashley, really, everything is under control. Rest assured that I will inform the passengers as soon as we have thoroughly evaluated the situation.
Don't give me that line, Captain. Tell me what's going on here, now.
Mrs. Ashley!
I'm sorry, it's just that I'm very worried.
Meet me in the sitting room in a moment, and I will explain.
Thank you, Captain.
Meet me in the sitting room. I cannot speak freely here.
Let's see if I can talk. Huzzah! I wasn't named Miss Stowe on the World Fat Queen for my dressmaking skills alone. Let's see what sort of havoc this causes. Oh my! That was much louder than I expected.
All hands on deck! All hands on deck!
Oh, hello!
You didn't just blow the whistle, did you?
Of course not. A uniformed gentleman did. He went off, I don't know, that way. This must be where Titanic receives wireless messages. Quite fascinating. Now, I know this machine was meant to receive messages from distant ships. I wonder if it would receive messages from this ship as well. There sure do seem to be a lot of unused parts lying about here. Everything else there seems to be essential to the equipment in one way or another. I'd best leave it. Now that sounds interesting. If only I understood it. MGY CQD 41N 50W? It would seem I've merely exchanged one code for another. I'd bet Mr. Tavalouris could help me decipher this. And he might know even more than the captain about the state of the ship. I'd best get to a mirror.
Ah, Mrs. Ashley. I thought perhaps I had not seen the last of you. Do, come in.
I'm not here to chat, Mr. Tavaloris. I'm here to get a straight answer from somebody on the state of this ship.
Whatever do you mean?
Is it possible you do not know? We collided with an iceberg not 20 minutes ago. The crew is in a frenzy.
I didn't hear anything, although I did wonder why we were reversing engines.
Nobody aboard will tell me the truth about our situation, so I contrived to eavesdrop on the ship's outgoing wireless messages. But I can't make heads or tails of them. Do you think you might?
Yes, of course. Let me see what you have.
What is it?
This is a distress call. The captain believes the ship will sink. The iceberg must have breached several watertight containers. If that's true, the ship is sinking as we speak.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. 10 minutes ago, I would have told you the ship was utterly unsinkable. I need to do some calculating.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. If the ship is sinking, the bilge compartments will be the first to fill. There are several on this deck. Perhaps you could check on them while I do some more calculations.
Yes, fine. Where are these rooms?
Down the hall is the bilge assembly. It's a pump system that moves water between bilge compartments. From there are tunnels leading to each of the 3 main bilge holds: the squash court, the Turkish bath, and the third-class showers.
Why those rooms?
It's a question of volume, my dear girl. Those are the largest lower deck rooms aboard. Check all 3 and let me know if there's any water in them quickly.
I have my orders. I shouldn't be fiddling about with anything until I let Mr. Tavaloris know the status of those compartments. These engines look massive enough to power an entire city. And come to think of it, they practically do. I can't get in there. The walls and floor are damp, but at least there's no standing water. The walls and floor are damp. I checked all 3 bilge rooms.
And?
The squash court is completely flooded. I can't even go in there. The Turkish bath seems empty, but damp. Same with the third-class showers.
I see. It's worse than I expected.
What can we do?
Well, the first thing we have to do is stop this doomed vessel. I don't know why the captain is still reversing, but that will only hasten our taking on water. We must stop the engines.
How can we do that?
I have access to the main engine room from here. See if you can figure something out.
Me? Why not you?
I need to recalculate how much time we have left based on your bilge water observations. Just remember, even the most massive combustion engine will grind to a halt if the fuel has no oxygen to combust with. Find a way to clog the intakes.
You may as well be speaking Greek for all the good it's doing me. But I'll see what I can do. Quite a mess. Let's see if there's anything here worth finding. Let's see what this ridiculous-looking contraption does. That isn't... I certainly hope Mr. Tavaloris was right. The engines have been stopped.
Excellent. That should buy us a few minutes.
A few minutes? It took me longer than that to do.
My girl, try and think of the thousands of innocents aboard who need that extra time.
Oh, yes, of course.
According to my calculations, we should remain afloat for an hour and a half. Do what you must to survive, Mrs. Ashley. If you need me, I'll be here.
What? Aren't you going to make a run for the lifeboats?
I think not. We do not have a full ship's complement, in case you were not aware. No, I will not waste precious lifeboat space with my own tattered husk. I shall remain here. Perhaps there's something yet I can do. Good luck, Mrs. Ashley.
And you, Mr. Tavaloris. Most of the passengers are, as of yet, unaware of their fate. The air outside is clear and still. It is, to many, a seemingly ideal evening. It's difficult, if not impossible, to know how one will react when presented with any grave moral crisis. I had access to privileged information. Part of me felt I should be screaming what I knew to be true at the top of my lungs as I ran through the halls. I'd like to think my choice to put my own family first wasn't cowardly as much as practical. A panic at this point would simply compound disaster. I struggled with this guilt. Robert! I've been looking all over for you. You weren't in your room.
Nor were you. Montague told me you were looking for me, so I went down to your room. Alas, my lady, she was not there.
Robert, have you been drinking?
Not nearly enough. In fact, the waiter has yet to return with my Bermuda highball. I wonder what's keeping him.
It doesn't matter. Listen to me. We have to get to a lifeboat. Immediately.
Fancy a little midnight row, what?
Robert, this ship is sinking, and you're soused.
Calm down. You can't go around yelling fire in a theater, you know. Did you have a bad dream?
Fairly sure I'm having one right now. Robert, you have to believe me. Come with me to the lifeboat decks. I beg of you.
Margie, I love you, but you do have a rather alarmist track record. It's absolutely freezing outside. I'd much rather sip my drink inside if, in fact, they ever bring it to me.
At the very least, let me show you what's going on below deck. You won't need to set a foot outside, I promise you. Please, Robert.
I'm not going anywhere until I get my Bermuda highball. And I'm 2 sheets up, so the stairs are right out.
Fine, we'll take the elevator. You are insufferable.
I am. It's one of my most lovable characteristics.
Off duty again, I see.
Oh, hello again. No, not off duty. Just on different duty. We're having a problem with the port crane. It seems to be jammed. Starboard one's fine, but the port one, I was told unjamming it is the highest priority.
That crane's used to lower lifeboats into the water, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
So you're aware that we are sinking?
What? No, this is merely a precautionary measure. Can't be too careful.
Very well, live in denial. In any case, I need you to accompany me to the lift.
I'm afraid I can't do that, ma'am. Strict orders.
If I help you unjam the crane, will you take me where I need to go?
You? No offense meant, ma'am, but this is dirty work.
Do we have a deal or not?
Well, sure. And good luck to you. I can't budge it.
A burlap sack of limes. The fabric is thick. I can't possibly get it open with my bare hands.
I need to use... I need to use...
Don't worry. The lift is out of order? That could be a problem. No. The crane grumbled to life. Perhaps now I can use the controls to move it. One Bermuda highball. I've half a mind to down it myself. Here's your blasted drink, Robert. Will you come to the elevators now?
Perfect. So be it. I will meet Milady there, if that will make her happy.
The only thing that would make me happy at this point would be dry land.
Well, it appears the lifts are out of order. What a shame. I'll just get back to the lounge. There's a bottle of single malt with my name on it.
You aren't going anywhere. Wait right here. I'll find the operator.
If I must.
You did it?
Didn't even break a sweat.
Apparently, I underestimated you.
You're hardly the first. Now, about our deal.
Yes, of course. But I'm still under orders to begin unloading boats. I'll meet you at the elevator and send you to whatever floor you wish. But I must return here immediately after.
That will be fine. Oh, so glad to see you both.
Yes, well, as I mentioned, Mrs. Ashley, I cannot stay. What deck do you wish to go to?
E-deck, please.
One of you will have to hold the door to prevent it from closing once you reach E-deck.
Not to worry, garçon. I will disavow my good lady wife of any of her idle fantasies without leaving the comforts of the lift.
All right then, E-deck. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Funny. I hope she doesn't. By the way, my good man, is there a bar on E-deck?
What just happened? Robert, are you okay? Robert? Oh, Robert, please wake up. He's still breathing. He must have hit his head when the elevator jerked to a halt. I need to find a way out of here. And I need to wake him up. The panel slid to one side. I think I could actually climb up there, if I don't mind sacrificing my ladylike demeanor for a few moments. It's not like Robert's going to see anything. It's tightly locked. It's tightly locked. Oh no, the doors! It's difficult to imagine all this will soon be on the ocean floor. When merit is left, honor our rights. What an odd inscription. Guess it doesn't matter if I abscond with this. Honor and merit revealed through time. Absolute gibberish. Ah, Mr. Tavaloris, your cleverness never ceases to amaze. On call? That just won't do. It's locked. That got some rather pent-up aggression out. That smells like lavender. Oh dear, it's making me a bit woozy. No. isn't waking up. I'll have to try using something a little more potent. Robert? Robert, can you hear me?
Oh, what happened to me?
You hit your head. The elevator stopped pretty suddenly. Oh, Robert, I thought I might lose you.
Don't be silly. My head is killing me. I think I need a drink.
That's the last thing you need. What more evidence do you need that Titanic is in serious trouble?
What? Little electrical malfunction, that's all. I think I'll take the stairs all the same, though. Am I right?
Where are you going?
Back to the lounge. It's above decks. If you're really worried about the ship sinking, you don't want to be down here.
My mother, she's down in steerage.
Get your hands off of me! Mom!
Just hold still. If you don't hold still, it will only get worse.
I want me mom!
Just what is going on here?
Oh, it's you. This blighter...
Me name's George! I done told you already!
This blighter, George, was down here goofing around instead of heading above deck. One of the port boilers exploded and the steam burned his leg up a treat.
Oh dear. George, are you all right?
Cut the bladed thing off already! It's killing me!
Doctor, is he going to be okay?
Yes, he's fine. But I need to dress his wound, and he won't stop squirming about like an eel.
Mom!
George, you need to calm down so the doctor can treat you. Would you like your ball game back again?
Sword me ball game!
Well, I never.
There's nothing for it, ma'am. He's in too much pain. I need you to fetch some hot water. Very hot, mind you. If I'm to dress his wounds here, I'll need to be as sanitary as possible.
Of course.
I'll also need some liniment to dull the pain, or he'll never keep still.
Liniment? I'll see what I can do. This could prove useful in giving me a source of heat. They say a disheveled desk means a sharp mind. I have my own opinion on the matter, but perhaps I could find something useful amidst the clutter. I used to play jacks as a child. We couldn't afford much else in the way of entertainment. I'll just hold on to them.
This should calm him down some, but I'll still need some hot water to reduce the risk of infection.
It's a broken fuse box. It looks as if several of the connections got knocked loose. If I had something to bridge the gaps, I might be able to get it working again. Those jacks I found were metal. Maybe I can use them to bypass the missing fuses. There we are. Now there should be a nice steady flow of electricity. It's a shower of sparks. If we weren't rapidly sinking, I'd be worried about something catching fire. I can't do that. Cold water won't do me any good. Cold water won't... There's nothing left to do.
The liniment calmed the boy down. There we are. How do you feel now, George?
Like spitting.
Now, George, the doctor was only helping you. You need to get above deck immediately. Quit playing about down here.
Fine, but only 'cause I wanna.
My Betty always wanted a child, but cooler heads prevailed, and I'm the happier for it.
Thank you for your help, Doctor. If you'll excuse me, I have to find my mother.
We are all needy children. It is the way of the world.
Odette! I thought I heard someone in here.
Margaret, whatever am I gonna do?
I know it's difficult. We must soldier on, I'm afraid. Don't worry, I'm sure there are enough lifeboats for all of us.
What? No, not that. What?
Pardon me?
Menkau Ray, the mummy. Don't you see? It's his curse. He's visiting an ancient score, settling it once and for all the raiders who looted his sacred tomb.
Odette, you can't be serious.
I didn't believe it either, but they told me. They told me this would happen.
It's coincidence, Odette, nothing more. Now please, come with me above deck. We need to get to the lifeboats.
It doesn't matter. You can't trick the ancients. We're all doomed, no matter what we do.
If it truly doesn't matter, then come with me.
No, I will stay with Menkau Ray. I brought this fate upon us all. I will go down with him.
You are impossible. Let me have a look inside that crate. Now this looks interesting.
Yes, that's the file, Invulnerable. It's said to contain the true spirit of Menkau Ray and is reported to be unbreakable.
I bet I could break it. Robert always said I had a knack for breaking things.
You could certainly try, if the curse doesn't frighten you.
It doesn't.
Fine then.
Fine. Odette, you must listen to reason.
Reason? Reason's what got me into this fix to begin with. Science, empirical evidence, the burden of proof, all out the window. Now, you'd best forge ahead without me, Margaret.
Perhaps there's something I can use here.
Odette, you must listen.
No.
One vat of potatoes going down. What a racket! The file wasn't so invulnerable after all. Let's see what they were so intent on protecting. Clever people, those ancient Egyptians. There's a parchment inside. It's covered in hieroglyphs. Shame I'm not an Egyptian scholar. I can't do that. Odette, can you translate this for me?
You opened the file?
Yes. It was difficult, I admit, but clearly not impossible.
And this parchment was inside?
Yes, it was.
It says, to those who thought they captured the essence of Menkau Ray, keeper of the moon and watcher from below, know that you are fools to a man. You possess nothing more than the dressed-up corpse of a chamber servant. Menkau Ray's true burial chamber remains forever hidden from the eyes of the living. But that means...
To put it lightly, this isn't Menkau Ray after all.
But the curse...
To put it lightly, poppycock.
Oh, how can I be expected to process 2 paradigm shifts in one day?
You aren't. Just come with me, please, Odette.
Oh. Well, okay.
That a girl. Montague, what are you doing here?
Ma'am, Robert sent me to look for you. He is worried and wishes you to join him above deck.
Have you seen my mother?
Yes. In fact, she was looking for you as well. The lines are crossed, as it were.
Oh, that's fine. We can meet them both above deck.
Beg pardon, Ma'am, but it seems this method of egress has been blocked.
However do you mean?
It's a mystery to me as well. I came down this way not 10 minutes ago, and yet it is now quite efficaciously blocked by this metal gate.
Oh, why would someone do that? That's just...
I'd almost go so far as to call it rude, Mom.
I had a better one.
Regardless, we have to find a way through this gate. I may know someone who can help. You two stay here. I don't want us all getting lost trying to find each other again. Did you hear that?
It sounded like a woman screaming for help.
We must go to her aid.
Montague, while I appreciate your chivalry, please do not forget the lady in your care already.
Of course, Mom. How could I forget you?
I don't mean me, Montague. I mean Miss Duchamp.
Oh, of course. Silly of me, really.
Hey, I don't need a guardian. In fact, it could be argued that I should be the scout in this situation. Why, my experience in the plains of Hadar alone...
Odette, please. Moments ago you were under the delusion that you were cursed or drowned by a mummy.
Hurry back.
I shall stay here with Odette, Ma'am. Pray, be careful.
The voice isn't coming from there. I must help the...
Oh, is someone there?
Yes. Yannick, is that you?
Oh, my prayers were answered. I thought I was left here to die.
Was that you screaming?
I was singing a song of distress.
It worked.
Yes, well, there remains the matter of that fire. And my leg.
What's wrong with your leg?
I think it's broken. I was trampled by ragamuffins. I came here to find a doctor, but who knows where he's off to. I chose to take a brief respite until he returned. But I was awoken by the sound of an explosion and this fire.
Okay, I've got the picture. Let me see what I can do to help you out.
Perhaps you should enlist aid.
I'm quite capable on my own, but thanks for the vote of confidence. The ink made marks on the paper, but they look meaningless to me. Now there are more letters on the paper, but I still can't make heads or tails of them. Now the picture is complete. It reads, I am available to you from noon to 3 and from 9 till midnight. for whatever that's worth.
I can't believe you brought up the whole mummy thing. Can't we let the past lie?
I humbly redirect the question back to you.
Touché.
I'm available to you from noon to 3 and from 9... Another mirror door solved! Mr. Tavalouros, are you...
What? Oh, hello. Sorry, just having a kip.
Are you serious? The ship is sinking. How can you sleep at a time like this?
Well, nothing I can do about it, is there? Might as well face the inevitable well-rested.
Mr. Tavalouros, we're trying to get above deck, but someone has locked the gate outside the mirror door at the second-class stairwell.
Yes, that was me.
Why on earth would you do that?
I didn't think there was anyone left down here. And I didn't want people coming back down for their favorite hairbrush or something equally trivial. You shouldn't be down here either, you know. Women and children first.
I'm looking for my mother.
Not a hairbrush, yet still, in a situation like this, you have to trust your mother's intelligence will guide her to the boat deck, just like yours should guide you.
I know, it's just... we didn't part on the greatest of terms.
Look, here's the gate key. Take it, and take my advice as well. Get to the boat deck post-haste.
Perhaps you're right. Thank you again, Mr. Tavalouros.
Not at all. Good luck, Mrs. Ashley.
It folds neatly into a thin plank. Quite convenient, really. I don't know much about wine, but it's clear to me that these aren't in the proper order. Let's see if I can fix that. That looks more orderly. And look at this poor fellow down at the end. Old, almost empty, improperly stored. Surely vinegar by now. I can't stand to see him suffer. I'm taking him with me. This ivy looks real, but it's actually made of cloth and wire. The servers here should be more careful when they uncork the wine. It seems they just let the corks lie where they fall. I can't abide that. Not enough cork to build a lifeboat out of, but perhaps I'll find some use for them. I poured the vinegar into the mason jar. The corks are all floating on top of the vinegar. If I give that a good shake, The baking soda and vinegar will mix, making a right mess. I must be sure to handle this with care. If I had just waited a little longer, the ocean would have put this fire out for me.
What? Why do you say that? Is there something wrong with the ship?
You know, for someone who prides himself on his foresight, you possess remarkably little. The ship is sinking. Can we get out of here now, please?
Yes, of course. I mean, no, we can't. I can't even stand. My leg is in bad shape.
Can't you just lean on me?
Maybe I'd rather drown.
You may get that chance.
If the fates dictate.
You're impossible, you know that. Let me see if I can cobble together some sort of crutch or splint.
Ah! Be careful. These legs convey a mind of considerable size.
The belly's no slouch either.
At last! We must make haste.
Of course. By the way, you're welcome.
I shall thank you properly once we are safely above deck. Hurry! I am seeing terrible events come to pass if we do not leave soon.
Cottoning on to that, are ya?
Mrs. Ashley, I'm glad to see you are all right. When I saw your husband come by without you a few moments ago, it was cause for concern.
You saw my husband? When?
Minutes ago, he headed towards the fore of the ship with much intent. He seemed upset.
Well, doesn't he have reason to be? Things like this aren't supposed to happen.
That may be, but in Venice we have a saying. The river will always win because it is patient.
I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about.
It is pointless to fight the current, Mrs. Ashley. We must embrace the flow.
Have you been talking to Yannick?
Now there is a forward thinker.
I can't waste time talking about this. How about my mother? Have you seen my mother?
Ma'am, there have been many people coming through this way, and much tumult besides. In any case, I've never even met your mother.
Loud, insistent, convinced she's always right?
She went aft about 10 minutes ago.
Thank you, Vincent.
Be safe, ma'am.
George? What are you doing here?
Punching!
Yes, I can see that. You do that well. But you need to get to a lifeboat. This isn't the time to play.
They wouldn't let me in here before. Now they said stay here.
What? Someone told you to stay here? Who was that?
Man in them shippy clothes said another skip would be coming for me.
When did this happen?
Couple minutes ago. Fine by me, I says. I'm punching.
This won't do at all. I must tell one of the crew. Mother!
Margaret!
I've been searching for you. Where have you been?
I've been searching for you! I've been up and down the decks!
Well, it doesn't matter now. What happened here?
There was a terrible explosion. It knocked me flat on the ground. When I got up, all this oil was flowing from the chimney.
Smokestack, Mother.
Whatever it is, I can't cross it. It'd take me overboard. Don't you try either, dear. Save yourself.
Just stay there, Mother. I'll be back.
I'm not going anywhere.
That oil's hot. I'm not going near it.
Captain, I don't think you understand what I'm offering you here.
And I've told you, Mr. Ashley, I have equal concern for all passengers aboard. I cannot single out any person.
What about women? What about children? They are singled out, aren't they?
Well, of course, but that is different.
My wife is in a delicate condition. You would have her be without her sole source of support?
Your wife is... I did not know that, Mr. Ashley. I suppose congratulations would be in order were the circumstances otherwise.
What's the point? You as much as said it yourself. We are sinking. We don't have enough lifeboats. We might as well dive in the water right now and make a swim for it.
Now, Mr. Ashley, I know you're upset, but...
I'd just as soon not hear anymore. What's all that poppycock about me being in a delicate condition? I'm not with child. Am I? Robert? Is that you in there? Captain, I don't think they can hear me above their arguing. Either that or they are choosing to ignore me.
Ma'am, you shouldn't be up here. You should be in a lifeboat.
And what about you?
My duty is my duty, ma'am. I will not leave the ship while passengers are still aboard.
You haven't seen my husband, have you?
Mr. Ashley? No, I haven't. Not for some time.
If you do see him, please tell him I'm looking for him.
I will do that, ma'am.
Yes?
I wish you'd never found your boarding pass.
Wouldn't you have let me board anyway?
No, ma'am. I would have turned you away. But I can assure you, I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Thank you, Thomas.
You should get to a lifeboat as soon as possible. Good luck, Mrs. Ashley.
Good luck to you as well, Thomas.
Mrs. Ashley, you must listen.
I know, lifeboats, but there's a child in the gymnasium and he won't leave. He said he was told to wait in the gym until a crew member came to get him.
A child?
8 at most.
Blast. I'd best fetch him. Please, don't disturb the captain while I'm gone. He's in his sitting room trying to strategize a way out of this mess.
Yes, that would be best. Maybe I can disable the flow of oil to the aft funnel. My knack for breaking things is unrivaled. These keys must have fallen from their pegs when Titanic lurched. I'm sure I could find a use for at least one of them. Now, if I only knew where any of these keys went. These pegs once had keys hanging from them. They must have fallen when the ship lurched. How am I going to match these keys with their proper pegs? I'm sorry, Thomas. It would seem disturbing the captain is my destiny. I could stand to vent a little aggression. I don't know my own strength. Say, I didn't know they filled these things with sand. I can't get enough sand to be of any use. It just slips through my fingers. It's no purse, but it will have to do.
Margaret, what are you doing in here?
Mrs. Ashley, you should be in a lifeboat.
I should ask the both of you what you're doing in here.
The captain and I were just having a discussion about ship's policy. Tedious stuff.
I'm not a fool, Robert.
Of course not. Look, Margaret, the situation on board is grave.
You think I don't know that? I've known that for ages. I tried to tell you, but you were too busy downing drinks to listen.
If you'll both excuse me, I have duties to attend to.
Margaret, please. Now is not the time.
Well, you're right about that, at least. Meet me at the grand staircase. I'll join you there momentarily. We can discuss this further then.
Yes, all right.
I can't do that. There. Just gritting the path like winters in Somerset.
Oh, me darling girl.
Mother, I need you to stop running about the ship. We need to organize and get into a lifeboat as soon as possible.
Oh, I agree, but...
No buts, no accepts. Now please, just do as I say, Mother. Get to the ground staircase and stay there. I'll meet you there soon.
If I must.
At last! I have you both in the same place at the same time.
Is that really such a feat?
You don't want to know. I'm just glad we're together. We need to get to a lifeboat immediately.
Margaret, I hate to rain on your parade, but I don't think it's quite that simple.
And just how would you know that, Mother?
Actually, Margaret, dear, I must agree with your mother.
What?
Well, getting to the lifeboats is a grand idea, but we all know there are far more people aboard than boats.
And?
And we need an edge. We can't just hope to be lucky. I have quite a repository of cash in my room. It might just mean the difference between a spot on a boat and a spot on the sea floor.
Oh, no, you don't.
And I need to retrieve my heart medication, or I could die either way.
What? You mean we have to go all the way down to steerage?
It isn't in steerage.
Well, where is it then?
In the hospital. They wouldn't let me carry it with me. Said I might blow myself up with it.
Blow yourself up? What are you on about?
It's nitroglycerin. Can you believe modern medicine? The same stuff used in dynamite is the only thing keeping me alive.
Well, we don't have time to do both. We have to split up. I'll come with one of you.
Which one?
I'll go with you, Mother. Robert is capable of taking care of himself. I'm not so sure you are.
That settles it, I suppose.
Don't mope, Robert. You'll be fine. Just act fast and get to a lifeboat.
Oh, these stairs. They're devilish.
No need to worry about that. It would appear we can't go any further.
Just as well. I needed a rest.
This gate is locked. I'll have to find a way through. Can you soldier on a bit?
I think I should stay here. I'm not feeling well.
Is it your pills?
Maybe. I'll just sit here. Wait for you. Remember, white round pills. Glass bottle. Label reads nitroglycerin.
Got it. I'll be as quick as I can.
Do what you need to, Margie. I'm not going anywhere.
The rowing machine won't work without the seat, but that hardly matters anymore. It's too heavy to lift. I can roll it, but not with any kind of speed. Whew! Even lifting the medicine ball those few inches was near impossible. I'm sorry, Dean, but it had to be done. And these tunnels look like they go on forever. I'd best take care not to get lost. A note. It reads, "I've left myself to the fates. I didn't play it straight, and by all rights deserve what I get." Cryptic, but also quite disturbing. A note. There's nothing left to do here. Never thought I'd be spending so much time in hospital at my age. With all this water in here, there's too much pressure on the door. If your property needs destroying, kindly contact Mrs. Margaret Ashley, Vandal at Large. Mother's medicine. I'd best get it to her immediately. Thomas!
Margaret! I mean, Mrs. Ashley, why aren't you in a boat yet?
There's something I need to find below deck first.
That won't be easy. They're locking all the doors as they clear people out. They don't want anyone going back after a trinket.
It's no trinket I'm after. It's my mother's heart medicine.
Well, make haste, Mrs. Ashley. Time is of the essence. I will do what I can to reserve you a spot.
Thank you, Thomas.
No luck yet?
Here are your pills, Mother.
Thank you.
Now we have to get to the lifeboats as quickly as possible. Thomas, I believe we're ready to board a boat now.
Of course. Follow me, Mrs. Ashley.
No, please see that my mother has a place first.
Of course, ma'am. Mrs.
Brown. It isn't Ashley. That much is certain. But it'll have to do.
Well, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Ashley, I think I can find you both spots. If you'll kindly follow me.
Thomas, you haven't seen my husband, have you?
I can't say I have, ma'am, but please don't lose hope. Mr. Ashley is nothing if not resourceful.
And you'll find yourself a spot, won't you, Thomas?
I have my spot already, ma'am. Now please, there isn't much time.
As I looked back at Titanic, her bow pitched impossibly skyward, I reflected on the choices I'd made. Not just those of the past few days, but throughout all my years. I had worked so hard to get what I thought I wanted. A powerful husband who could lift me from my meager beginnings to something grander. With one lapse in judgment, it was gone. Robert had our entire lives set up for us once we arrived in New York Harbor. I suppose now I'll have to pick up the pieces. Perhaps I'll learn something in the process. I was experiencing a mad blur of emotions. Sorrow, anger, fear. Somewhere buried in the jumble, vying desperately for my attention, was a spark of hope. I knew that once we reached America, I wouldn't feel alone. Besides my mother, I had my newly christened sisterhood, those who survived. We lucky passengers aboard Titanic were forever bound to one another by those harrowing hours at sea. I knew that if I ever happened upon any of them, even after many years had passed, something in their eyes would allow me to recognize them on sight. We all carried the burden of those who slipped beneath the freezing waves that night, under a canopy of stars and the dying light of the flickering distress flare. There, shivering in those lifeboats, our eyes transfixed by the horror before us, we were attending a mass funeral for those who were not yet dead. It was our lot to remember them to the rest of the world.